All right, CITIUS Mag live from Paris, powered by A6. Another night here and another night of the athletes putting on an absolute show. Tonight we were treated to more U.S. gold medals, a world record. So we're going to unpack all of it. We had the women's 400-meter hurdle final, men's 200 final, men's 110 hurdle final, women's long jump final, the start of the women's heptathlon, and then the women's 1500 semifinal. So we have to start with Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone's world record. It was the 100th medal of Team USA at these Olympic Games, and she lowered her own world record for the sixth time to 50.37 seconds. Only woman to win the event in consecutive Olympic Games. We had Anna Cockrell finished in second place in a personal best of 50.87 for silver. And Femke Bol just beat out, I believe it was Jasmine Jones, who was in fourth in 52.29, which would have been a nice USA sweep. But Femke Bol ends up with another bronze medal. The way that this race played out for about, I would say, 250 meters, like maybe even closer to 300. Sydney and Femke were neck and neck, but coming off of that turn, the second turn, that's when Sydney opened up, and she proved that she is the most dominant athlete on this planet, and won handily, broke the world record. I think at that point, everyone in the stands is just kind of looking at the clock. Are we going to get that sub 50? It was just a tad bit over. Nothing to be disappointed about because it's another world record. And so our mind just continues to get blown by Sydney. Anna Cockrell just laid on the track after because she was spent and at the same time just overcome with so much emotion because she's someone who, like, this has been in the making for a long time. Femke Bol was in a little bit of shock for sure, shaking her head, very disappointed in that race, but it's another medal. And so, Caitlin, I can only imagine how excited you must have been in the stands because you've been treated now to seeing Sydney break the world record. What is it, 3 times?
Yeah, all because of CITIUS Mag. Wow. Thank you guys for allowing me to witness history several times. But it was really crazy watching the race, mainly just because, like, I just want to give Femke a hug, like, so bad. And everybody has this whole talk of, like, well, maybe she shouldn't have ran the mixed relay. I said, y'all are so silly because, like, this is not the first championships where she has done all, like, 6 rounds of stuff and she still did perfectly fine and it still ran 51 seconds. It's just, like, it wasn't there for that race on today, and, like, that's fine. But I don't think, like, her losing this one time should be like, oh, my God, now she needs to never run the mixed relay. I'm like, every other time she's either, I mean, yeah, she won last year or, like, she has earned herself a silver medal at a major championship while running the other events. So I think we let Femke do whatever the hell she wants to, but then also giving her a hug and giving her grace too, because this is good. This is like the perfect fuel for, like, Femke haters, which is, like, gonna piss me off. They're like, well, we told you that Sydney was, like, such a different beast and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that still doesn't negate anything that Femke has, like, ever done, like, leading up until this point. It's just really unfortunate that, like, it ended up in being a bronze medal, but it's also not unfortunate because you got a bronze medal at the Olympic Championships. Because what I don't want to happen is for it to kind of be like the same thing of, like, how it played out with Sha'Carri, where it was like, well, you should have got silver, you should have got gold, and, like, you didn't, so now you're a terrible individual, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, because do you have a bronze medal at the Olympic Championships twice? No. So I just think that there definitely needs to be, like, a lot of grace for Femke, and especially a lot more, like, being commended for, like, what she does. Because she does choose to, like, put her country on her back, and that is very respectable. But then back to Sydney and Femke, like, in terms of the race, it was so insane because I told y'all Femke was ready to put that pressure on Sydney. Yeah. And me personally, I feel like the reason why Sydney ran that record is because Femke said, I'm not going to let you have this first 300 meters. They were neck and neck or either completely close together the entire 300 meters. It was just when Sydney hit one of them hurdles, it was like she hit a damn mushroom and she just took off, and Femke was like, okay, I don't got it this time. It's all right. I'm going to still run, whatever the case is. But I really do think that Femke was a part of, like, Sydney making history, because I think it's the same thing when people think about Grant. Like, people think Grant is beatable if somebody goes out with him like on that turn. And like I think, or not on the turn, but like in the first couple of hurdles. And I think it's the same thing with Sydney. I think Sydney can be pushed to more great heights or even be beatable at some point by probably just Femke if there is an individual who is willing to take it out with her and not be afraid of what she does. However, I think the only issue with that is I feel like Femke ran Sydney's race. Femke didn't run Femke's race. And I think that's the reason why it didn't work out well for her, because I think Sydney and Femke get to 50 and like 51 in like slightly different ways. And like, that's okay. But the issue is that like, when you decide that you want to like push with like the greatest to ever do it and you know that you don't have it, personally, I would play it safe. Not play it safe as in like, let me like dial back on like how I'm going to do this competition and not using as much energy. It's playing it safe in terms of like following your own race strategy as opposed to like trying to go with somebody else's. Because I feel like if she wanted to try to go with Sid, that should have been something that she started to do within like the last 200 to 150 meters as opposed to like the first half of that race. So it was definitely very like sad for her. Like Femke was cussing after. I'm like, she's such a sweetheart. Like I can just imagine like with her voice, her cussing and just being like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, really high pitch.
Yeah.
The highest pitch F word we've ever heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, like, just imagine.
Don't do it.
know.
Don't do it.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
poor
I'm
girl.
good. But then also just like really happy for like Anna Cockrell like as well. I've been saying since Olympic trials that like Anna Cockrell is ready. Actually, no, I said earlier on in the year before Olympic trials that Anna Cockrell was ready to run 51 seconds because I think she had a PR of like 52 like 6 between like 52 5 52 8. I don't remember what she ran, but I was like, I don't know, like I just think like she looks stronger mentally and physically because when she races, like we already know Anna Cockrell is a very strong like individual, but something about it like really showed up in her races. Like we already know when it comes to the 400 to 400 hurdles, like that lactic acid gets crazy. And the way that she has been racing all year has kind of just showed like she knows how to take it on and like kind of use it to her advantage. And so I was just like, no, like the girl can run 51 seconds. I don't know when she gonna do it. I would hope that she can do it at some point this year because I feel like it's in her right now. And I'm just so happy that she was able to pull it off. And it's like, you just beat Femke Bol. Like, Femke Bol ain't no scrub, okay? She got world records. And like I said, if it's only one person on this planet that I think can touch Sid in any type of way, I think it's Femke. And so for you to beat one of the greatest to ever do it for the fourth fastest time of all time, that's amazing. And it's been a long time coming for her, especially since like she got DQ'd at the last Olympics. She was also very nervous moving through Olympic trials and like moving through the Olympics. Like the girl has been so open about like her mental health struggles and like her being nervous, the anxiety. And it's like, you could even see it on her face when she was at the Olympics. It was like, you look like a deer in headlights. Like, are you okay? And she's like, no, my mental health was like terrible. Like I literally had to like talk to myself on the line so that way I wouldn't like freak out and like cry because it was just like so much nerves going on. But you know, that wasn't the case this time. She looked very strong, calm, cool, and collected. So I'm glad that happened for her. And then Jasmine Jones was so close to making an American sweep. I did not think that would have happened.
I didn't think that for this event.
I mean, it didn't happen, but like Jasmine Jones to run a 52:29, is that a PR for her? Yeah, like you are also probably like top 10 all time ever, which is insane. So I think Jasmine is also quite ready to run 51 seconds. And I think my last thought about all of this is that I know I said Sydney was going to run 49 this time. I don't know when she's going to run 49, but I guarantee you on like everything I love, she will be running a 49-second race at some point before something, because you ran a 50.37 and Femke was on your butt for like majority of the race. Wait until Femke is back in that mode and Femke want to take it to the last couple hurdles with you. There is no way she's not running 49.
So I guess like that, to pin it on where things went wrong for Femke in this race, because I mean it wasn't. Sydney afterwards said this wasn't a perfect race, which is honestly scary. And the fact that she and Bobby Kersey will watch this race back and point out different little areas for them to possibly clean up. And I think, you know, that's scary because I think that shows that Sydney's still thinking that she's going to stick with this event. My thinking goes, it's like, all right, what else could she do? Like, you know, I know she's signed to run, you know, Grand Slam next year, but at the same time, I'm like, do something. Get back to the 400. Like we were really enticed by that. Drop down to the maybe we saw what she could do in the 200.
I want her to run 49 first.
I know.
Also, do you know that if she would have ran like that 200 times, she would have made the finals
here today
in the 200?
Oh, you mean the split that she had
No,
in this
no.
race?
Like when she ran that 22.0 in
Yeah.
LA, she would have made the finals this week.
And her split today in the hurdles, wouldn't that have made the 400-meter final?
Wait, what did she run?
50.37. No.
Wait, what? Are you talking about her 200 split or
No,
her
I'm talking about
Well,
her
her
overall
200 split in
time.
LA would have made the
50.37?
final,
Wouldn't
and
that,
then her
wouldn't that have been
400.
really close to making the 400 flat?
Yeah, wait, let's go. I'll take a look
We'll
at
circle
that.
back.
But yeah, I know, like, let's not let's revel in the moment of this world record, but at the same time, like, forward thinking, what do you hope Sydney does after this one?
49 seconds. Me personally, if I was in control of everything, I would be like, okay, as soon as you run 49 seconds, you can either keep going or you can stop and go do something else. I just think that she's so close to 49 that, like, I just want to see her do it. But also maybe running, like, faster open 400s will be the way for her to get to 49 seconds. But I just think it's there, so.
All right, I looked it up. It would have been close. Not exactly that she would have got into the final.
She would have been the first out.
Yeah, she would have been the first out because the last little
So that
key
is
was
close.
50.17, and Sydney ran 50.37 today. Wow. I mean, faster than Kendall Ellis in the semifinals, faster than Lika Klaver in the semifinals. That's honestly faster than Nikisha Price. Like, very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, just to contextualize,
Yeah.
Kind of Sydney's remarkable performance here today. Just quickly on the note of Femke and where things went wrong, she admitted in the press conference afterwards that, yeah, she took it out way too hard. Like, and to your point, I don't think she ran Femke's race. She ran Sydney's race and paid the price. And then on top of that, like, you have to wonder, like, how much that 47-second split from the mixed relay took out of her legs.
I think it took some stuff out of her legs, but, like, I genuinely don't think. I think Femke trains for stuff like that. So, like, when you train to do things like that, I don't think it affects you in the way that people would. Like, if I went to go run a 47-second race and then you told me to go line up for the 400 hurdles, I'm going to be screwed. But for somebody who has been doing this at every major championship for, like, the past 3 years, and I'm sure that her and her coach handle whatever threshold training and practice to make that happen, I genuinely don't think it was an issue for her.
And we don't look at Femke and say, oh, she makes reckless decisions all the time. Like, she's a very calculated, smart athlete.
Yeah.
Like, to criticize that is, I think, not the point.
Yeah.
It's that she got too excited and went out a little too hot. That happens in the moment where you're in a stadium that, like, my ears are still ringing from how loud it was tonight. And she's clearly in such great shape to be able to almost hold on to it. That, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's not the 47.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I think, I don't know, we're at this stage. It's the Olympic Games that you come to the final. Sometimes you have to think of, like, all right, if there is this one dominant athlete, my best way of trying to win is to go all out and do something I've never done before. It is a major risk.
You have to.
And sometimes it backfires. Jakob kind of did it to himself. But within that race, like, Brian Coleman probably never ran that fast, like, in a 1500 before.
It
but
never
it's like
happens
that's what he
until
thought.
it happens,
Yeah.
though. Like,
And
that's
now
the
you know.
thing. Exactly, because it's like, okay, cool. I tried to run Sydney's race and it didn't work for me. I'm either gonna go back to what I was doing or find something else that I can tweak so that way I can be on her level, because she's not that far off from her. Like,
Right.
She runs a 50-point race. She is the second fastest 400-meter hurdler of all time. Like, I really need people to, like, understand that about Femke. And one thing that Femke has been doing every single year is just improving. And she's been doing it exponentially, because when Delilah and Sid were going back and forth at Tokyo, Femke was third, but her and the rest of the field was about 200 meters back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now it's like, you looking at Femke and it's like, Femke probably shouldn't be more than a hurdle behind Sydney. Maybe if a hurdle, you know what I'm saying? Like, it should start to get to that Delilah and Sid relationship that we got to see a couple years ago. So I don't, like, she had a bad race and this is why I'm pissed because, like I said, I just think the Femke haters are gonna like take it and run with it, and be like, she's terrible, and I'm like,
No, she's
how
not.
many world records
She's
do
not.
you have?
Like, I don't think it ultimately affects, well, in a way, a
it
little bit.
affects how her
the
legacy is.
Oh,
I think it's gonna affect how it's perceived, but not how it actually is on paper.
I was going to say the rivalry.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it doesn't affect the rivalry. Like, think about. I mean,
The
we'll
rivalry
transition
coming into this was one-sided.
for sure, and we're gonna talk about this with Noah. It's like the rivalry is not gone now that Noah didn't win double gold. Like, it's just one off race. And who's to say that the next time she doesn't run the race the exact same way, and because she's brought her body there one time, it's not going to click on the next one. You know, she knows what it's like. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, like, sometimes people get lucky. Like, what Quincy Hall did yesterday, like, coming from the literal depths of hell to win that race, you don't know until you take it there. He could have did that and still lost.
He strained his hamstring, or no, not his hamstring, but his leg a little bit on that. This is just an update from the mix zone today, is that he strained his leg. He thinks he should be okay, but a little bit of a question mark there for him for the 4x4.
That's the thing, too. It's like, if you have the opportunity, like, yeah, you can take it, because there's always a chance to, like, do something, but it's like, what risk are you willing to take? Because it's one thing to, like, okay, I'm gonna put myself in an immense amount of, like, lactic acid pain, but then it gets to a point to where, like, if you want to achieve this goal with how much you got in front of you, you might have to hurt yourself a little bit or look crazy. I mean, like, I know there's people still mad about, like, Shanae dipping at the line and, like, beating Allison Felix back in 2016. Listen, before I actually, like, really got to track and field too, I was pissed at Shanae for years. I'm like, you beat Allison Felix, you dipped at the line. What's your problem? Now I'm like, I mean, I don't have no issue with it. I love Shanae.
I love Shanae.
Shanae is one of my top, okay? You know what I'm saying? But, like, in that moment, I was so pissed. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You just beat my goat. Like, that's not fair. But, like, regardless, I just think it's like, there's a question of, like, do you have what it takes? I'm like, I think everybody has what it takes, but I think a lot of people are like, I also, like, don't want to kill myself, like, in the process. Like, I will just give myself another chance.
And the greats will go there.
Yeah.
I mean,
at least once to see if they've got it.
I mean, when they said that Van Niekerk broke the world record, they were like, they put that boy on a stretcher afterwards because who were running 43 seconds flat almost. That boy had to go to the hospital.
Sometimes it's what it takes. All right. That was the women's 400 hurdles, an epic race. At this point, it's still, anytime Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone steps on the track, it's appointment viewing. And I hope that there are a lot of new track fans out there, because we are picking a lot of those up over the last couple of weeks, who are amazed and want to continue following along for more. Because, she gets crap because she doesn't race all that often. But, one, there's hope that changes. And two, I think we still haven't even scratched the surface of what her true potential is.
She's also, like, only 24. So, like, there's that. I mean, Sydney, if Sydney wants to keep going, she keep going for like another 10 years.
Yeah. She's got to find a way to make it a bit more fun for her, I think.
Yeah, because it's like either she's going to retire early because, like, it's like, what else do y'all want me to do? I literally have done everything under the sun. Or she's going to retire, like, extremely late. And it's like, how the hell are you going to keep this fun for her for the next 10 years?
Today, she looked really happy.
Yeah.
She looked really happy. When they put the crown on her, she was beaming, and you don't really see that side of Sydney that much. Like, she's really all business a lot of the time,
which is crazy because, like, when she came through the mix zone or like the content creator zone and at the Olympic trials, I said, girl, you was having a blast down here. I'm over here hyping her. I said, okay, Sydney. She like completely different individual. Like, it was scary. I was like, you are not the person that I interviewed last year. I feel like we friends or something. I feel like this is how you were active. Like, we was chilling at home, like in the crib, like watching TV or something. Like, it's there. I don't know, like, what in her mind, like, goes behind, like, I just, like, reserve it for, like, different settings and stuff. But, like, it's so much fun when you get to see her have fun.
I think it was the comfort of the 400 hurdles. Like, she's so dominant in this event. She knows how good she is. And last year she was testing out the 400, and it's like she wasn't the best person, or at least, like, we didn't get to see her really live out to that potential where like when you caught her at like a USA's or something like that, she's still probably like, I still need to be locked in to perform. And when you're this dominant and you know you're gonna win, like I think like it's easy to relax a little bit, and so we saw some of that. I would be curious, sort of, and I saw that he was in the chat a couple, days ago. Ashton Eaton, like he's someone who accomplished it all, where it was like double Olympic gold medals, the world record, and holding all of that stuff, and retired young. And how you deal with sort of like that decision, whether you'd go back and maybe change things, or how else would you have found something, to keep you, super interested in the sport? I'd be so curious to hear like what his advice would be for someone like Sydney, who has checked the same exact boxes now,
or even
as
like
someone like Ashton,
or even like Justin or like Shelly. Like they decided to stay until like they were 37, 38 years old. Like
I don't think we'll see Sydney till she's 37. Like I don't think we'll see.
But maybe we won't see her until she's 37. But like in terms of just longevity, like being in a sport, because what you already been one of the fastest ever for like the past 5-6 years, assuming you stay until you're like 34, because that's when most people kind of try to transition out or retire. That is like 15 straight years of just track and field.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next final that we had that was really interesting today, was the men's 200-meter final, which oddly enough, like when you had this much star power, I guess this is the challenge of building out a schedule like this. Like I thought the women's 400 hurdles should have been the last event today. Move up the men's 110 hurdles up in the schedule to where the 200 was, but
personally,
this is still
with
really
the vibes
good.
of the stadium, I don't even think it would have mattered, because I feel it didn't even feel like a finals day in there. Like the stadium, yeah, no, I just
Not
feel
enough
like,
French people competing. I mean, we're getting.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
I feel like in terms of like fan experience, like they just could have did like so much more. In terms of like, you've got 3 straight finals. Like you got the world record holder plus like her biggest competitor since Dalilah Muhammad. You got Grant Holloway. The last time he was out here, he didn't get a gold medal, and he was supposed to. Now he has the opportunity to do so. And then the biggest story of the 200 is like Noah Lyles attempting to do the double while apparently having COVID. So like, why are we not like?
We needed the bracelets. We needed
I don't
the French
understand
DJ.
how are they choosing when to do the hype up, dim the lights.
I don't know how they're choosing it, and it honestly feels like they're not putting like a lot of effort into the thought, which is crazy, because like we saw like, I mean, me and Mac was talking about this off camera, like it's a little like tangent, but in terms of like fan experience, they have the willpower to like make the Olympics for track and field like one of the biggest and best events that we have ever seen in a very long time. And they did it for the men's 100 final. Granted, you can't take 15 minutes to like do that, but it's like
event.
If what you're saying was correct about like a protester or whatever, it was supposed to be shorter to begin with. So like y'all have the knowledge to build up and hype up these races in a way where it's like, okay, can't do it for 15 minutes, but like for 3 straight minutes, I can give fans and these athletes like the best experience of their life before they run. And like, I just felt like that wasn't happening today. Like when the men's 200 came out, I was like, oh, men's 200 final is like right now. Like, why is it just like another event on the track? You know what I'm saying?
It could have been more hype for sure. I agree. But the race was
very
exciting.
The race was very interesting. Yes.
Caitlin, take us through your vantage point of how you saw this race unfold.
So, first you have Noah just coming out acting insane. That's pretty much like what I expected of him. But I heard the rumors of him like being sick. So I'm like, I don't know if I would be jumping around if I was sick. Not that I'm against him like doing it. It's just like I would probably like keep that energy reserved and then kind of like build it up after, just because like, if you weren't feeling too great and that you don't have that much energy to spare and that this is going to be a race where you really got to like go for it, then I'll probably like save it. But regardless, like that's neither here nor there. That is my personal opinion. It don't really matter. But look, he comes out, okay? He's having a blast. I feel like the stadium wasn't getting hype enough. I feel like 3 people were screaming. Everybody else was just like, okay, here's Noah. But I feel like that was also a part of like fan experience. The stadium just like the people who run the stadium just didn't do enough to like hype up what was going on. Boom, they're in their blocks, and Kenny Bednarek just like takes clean off. I'm looking at it, I'm like,
That man was
shit.
gone.
Like, are you gonna win this? Like, you've been ready to win for a hot minute. You were pissed about getting like 7th or 6th in the 100 final. I know you want a gold medal because you got silver last time as well. Like, Kenny doesn't want to turn into a Femke where it's like, I just continue to get second behind a guy who just continues to pull it out of himself every single time. So Kenny took this race very seriously, and you can tell that on his turn. And then Letsile's like, hey guys, I want you all to know that I am going to all of this up. You know what I'm saying? And so Letsile just essentially controls that race off of the turn, and it was completely lights out. You could see Noah was really trying his best. Like, that top end speed was getting there, okay? Like, the Noah that we see that powers through that last 75 meters, it was coming. But then the last, like, 20 or so meters, he burnt out. And you could tell, like, his stride pattern had changed. The look on his face was changed. Like, the entire, like, aura, essentially, of him had went from, like, 9 to, like, -2. Like, it was just not the same Noah that we've ever seen. And like I said, bronze is not bad, but obviously there is a double gold at stake that didn't necessarily happen. And then Kenny, I'm sure Kenny is pissed too, because he's like, I thought I was coming out here to just beat Noah, and you telling me I gotta beat Letsile too? Like, what? And then Letsile, in just like the most humble and like amazing way possible, just like gracefully came through that line. Olympic record, I think, maybe, or am I lying? Or some type of record, area record. That's what
area
came
record.
up.
Yes.
He got an area record, which was just amazing, because I think his PR beforehand was a 1950, and so to see him improve and to see him be so young, amazing. But then also, like, I really applaud him, because as somebody who has like lost their parent and had to go run a track season like literally 3 weeks later, it's terrible. Like, I remember like showing up to practice, and coach was like, did you do anything? I said, babe, I've been in bed bawling my eyes out for like the past 2 weeks. I ain't done shit. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And
that was Tebogo in May.
Exactly. Like, it's just a lot to do. Like, I remember going to my first track meet. She's like, okay, I'm going to put you in the 4x4. I was bawling 5 minutes before it was time for me to get on the line. Like, it was terrible. You know what I'm saying? And just like meet after meet after meet, having to physically and mentally go through the fact that like my father is no longer here with me, and to like be my biggest supporter is like the worst experience. And I would never wish it on anybody. So when I saw Letsile, you know, talking about like losing his mother, it's like, dude, like, I still cry about my father. I was crying about my father a couple weeks ago. Like, it's just a lot of emotional and mental and like even physical stress that you go through when you are grieving your parent, especially if that's somebody that, you know, you're really close with and has been rooting for you. And I'm sure that like his mother was somebody that was such a big supporter for him and has been a part of the reasons why he's ran so fast. So I commend him, because when I you know, was going through that, I made nationals, but I still got there and I ran like, okay. And then you came out here after losing your parent and you became the Olympic champion. You literally deserve the entire world. And another thing that I can really appreciate, because people are trying to say like, oh, Noah wasn't congratulating nobody, he was being a butthead. Noah literally went on Twitter, so y'all can go check his tweets right now, but he was like, congratulations, I know you've been through a rough year, and coming out as the Olympic champion, like, props to you, because Noah, like, so, like, he saw what he was going through this year. Like, that shit is hard.
Yeah.
Mackenzie went through it in the middle of her season, and look at what she did. She was a 3-time national champion and came out here and made her first Olympic final. So, like, losing a parent is not easy. And honestly, like, if there's, and this is not to, like, crap on Kenny either, because I would also want Kenny to win gold. But, like, if there was somebody out here that, like, I would want to beat Noah and like take Olympic gold, I would want it to be Letsile, because that is such a beautiful way to end your year after everything that you've been through.
Yes.
We have another additional update from Noah Lyles. Just posted on Instagram a couple minutes ago. That's what I was clickety-clacking away over here on. He posted on Instagram, first, I want to thank God for getting me through this entire Olympics. Second, I want to congratulate Letsile Tebogo, Kenny Bednarek, and everyone else on an amazing Olympic 200-meter final. Finally, I want to thank everyone for the supportive messages. I believe this will be the end of my 2024 Olympics. It is not the Olympic dream It is not the Olympics I dreamed of, but it has left me with so much joy in my heart. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Whether you were rooting for me or against me, you have to admit you watched, didn't you? See you next time. So I think this rules.
I love it.
Noah Lyles
I like
out
it.
for the 4x1 and the 4x4. So he's going to end up with 1 gold medal, 1 bronze medal at these Olympic Games.
And I think that's fine. Like, and my thing is kind of like what Michael Johnson said. Like, Noah's not afraid to say that he wants to win. And there's a lot of people who aren't afraid. Fred Curley's not afraid to say that he wants to win. Like I said, Fred Curley was talking about, I'm about to break the world record on the track. I'm not crapping on you, Fred. You just, obviously, like, that didn't happen. But, like, I'm not crapping on him for saying that he wants to do that because, like, if that's something that you want to do, you need to speak on it. Because if everybody wants to be safe in their goals, there's no reason for all of us to be competing. Like, Grant Holloway literally, I think it was Grant or somebody, one of the athletes was like, if you're not training to, like, win a gold medal, then, like, what are you training for? Like, yes, there's a possibility that you train and you don't get it, but, like, you need to be training as if you're going to get gold because you could be like Quincy Hall in the last 2 meters, figure it out. You could be like, Noah in the last literal half a centimeter and figure it out. Like, you can be like all these people that just bring it together. So I applaud Noah for saying that he wants to do all of these things, even though it didn't happen, but still being graceful in defeat, congratulating his competitors, saying, you know what, cool, I said I want to do all these things. It didn't happen, but, like, it's fine. Like, it just is what it is.
The sun's going to come up tomorrow.
Exactly. Like, this is what I mean by when I say, like, when we talk about Noah and when we talk about other athletes, you should not take the stuff too serious. Like, the way that people kind of just, like, wear and take everything that Noah or anybody else says to face value is, like, completely insane to me because I'm like, you telling me if you're asked to bet on yourself, like, if you're coming out here to an Olympic champion, like, you're not going to bet on yourself. You're going to bet on somebody else to beat you. Are you crazy? I don't give a hell if somebody 10 seconds faster than you. Babe, you better go out there and act like you are it, okay? Because that could be the one day that you chose to have confidence that could give you a PR, okay? That could put you as the winner. Cool. Everybody thought Letsile had the opportunity to win gold, but people wanted Noah to do it, and Letsile pulled it through today. So that's what matters.
Yeah, I think all year we've kind of been saying it's like Noah Lyles getting beat would be great for the plot line, and it just so happened it happened at the biggest stage. So not exactly how you can script these things, but that's, hey, I mean, now it gives sort of the Noah Lyles storyline is he's going to be in a similar situation to what Grant had to do up until today, where it's like you're chasing that Olympic gold medal, and now his next chance will come at a home Olympics, and I'm sure he'll want to defend the 100. And things only get harder. But I guess that's a challenge you step up for.
It's a great storyline though. Like, I don't know, because I mean, I don't want to be preaching on here tonight, but like, as somebody who is a believer in God and Jesus, and faith and all that other stuff, when you walk in our faith, you understand that, like, when you go through things, it's usually going to set you up for, like, a very big testimony. So, like, the fact that you came out here, you said you wanted to win 4 things, and you only won 1, only got medals in 2, you got the next Olympics in 4 years. There's a lot of great things that could happen for Noah in the future in terms of his story and, like, what he can, like, give in terms of, like, love and advice and encouragement to other people. So I'm just really excited to see it for him. And like you said, like, all of this stuff is for the plot. So why not? I mean, like, this is great for Letsile too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is.
It's great for so many individuals involved. And, like, I understand that Noah is, like, the focal point, but, like, I think now we have the opportunity to, like, focus on other athletes too. And, like, I told y'all, like, I think that's why Noah does what he does. But he also understands that, like, he can't push forward the sport and he can't continue to push forward, like, other athletes unless he's the one who is willing to yap at the mouth and, obviously run fast enough to like back it up. So everything he does is for the good of the sport. I don't think you have to, like, absolutely love him. I love him. I don't care what y'all got to say, but, like, it's just you have to commend the things that he has done as a whole, even if you don't agree with everything that he's ever done.
For sure.
Yeah, I was just looking at this. Letsile's footwear sponsor posted a photo that says, "I let my legs do the talking," in, like, huge capital letters. But I also don't feel like Tebogo's just more reserved. And
No, do y'all this year? Yes.
yeah, I'm saying this year.
Oh, I was finna say, they used to get mad at Tebogo too. They used to be like, who does he think he is? Usain Bolt? Because when Tebogo was running circles around these people last year and the year before, he was, Tebogo was on that track having a ball. For people who are just learning about Tebogo, y'all gonna be like, oh my God, he's so humble. He's so much better than Noah because he doesn't like to talk his mess. I said, nah, he going through something. So y'all don't know. That boy worse than Noah. When it come, okay, yes, he won't be doing backflips when he come out through his walk. But boy, when I tell you, if it's somebody out here who like wants to emulate Usain Bolt in terms of like his vibes, it is that one. So don't come be a Letsile fan thinking you finna get a humble, quiet beast. No, whenever he starts to, really come back to himself, y'all gonna see what type of man he is, and y'all gonna be pissed if y'all was only here for him being quiet.
All right, so I'm looking forward to that. Like, I want shit-talking Letsile Tebogo to come back out.
Also, side note, this is like the exact same order minus Andre from 2021.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because Kenny got second, then Noah, and then Ariane. Just thought that was cool. But, yeah.
All right, moving on over to the men's 110 hurdle final. I mean, for this one, after hurdle 2 or something like that, like it was over, Grant Holloway, had some clear daylight on the rest of the field. Gets under 12:99, under 13 seconds, only man in the field to do it. The whole entire time, once like he got clear of everyone, I was just like, just don't clip anything, don't clip anything, don't clip anything. Gets across the finish line, wins gold, and it's just like, I think the biggest feeling I had was just like being proud for Grant Holloway. Like he checked the box for his legacy, and then on top of that, just relief. That's all it was, I think.
So now he's only got one more thing. He's only missing one thing.
The world record.
It's the only thing he's missing. But honestly,
But this wasn't the place for it, I think.
I thought it would be great, but maybe here's the thing, like when Grant ran 12:86 like at Olympic trials, it's because Freddie put that work on him in them first couple steps and over that first hurdle. And I think that pushed Grant to be like, I got to go. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I don't think I saw that from the rest of the field today. They just let Grant take it because Grant is Grant. So I think the next time somebody is willing to just put it up on him, we'll be fine. Honestly, maybe when Devin Allen gets back, he might be the person who can force Grant to kind of do it. And it's not that I don't think that D-Rob, Kenny, Hansel, or Rashid could like force him to do that. I just think it's somebody just has to be willing to pretend like they're Grant Holloway for a little while, and then that's gonna push Grant Holloway to be an even better Grant Holloway.
I think could be a healthy Freddie. Like Freddie ended up finishing 6th in this, like the repechage survivor.
The repechage survivor.
He made 2 global finals in 2 years.
Yeah, new dad. Like I think Freddie going into 2025 is gonna be very dangerous. And so
I said he was going to be dangerous this year. I think for him, like he's putting a lot of like pieces together. And I don't know. I know I was really rooting for like a USA sweep. I truly believe that it's something that could have happened. But I still think that Freddie is a very scary man. Like he has nothing to lose. Still, you need to be scared of people who have nothing to lose.
I was at Jamaican Trials, and I got to say, Orlando Bennett, I think, is going to be pressing.
Let's remember the name.
He's going to be the next?
I think he's going to be the next. I mean, Hansel Parchment is a dear friend of mine, and my head almost fell off when we were waiting for like 5 minutes for the results at Jamaica Trials for him to be eventually named to the team, and he wasn't having his best meet. But I do think that the Jamaican hurdlers they're coming. It was again, Jamaica, we're just not having a great meet this time. It's been really
the shutout on the women's side is still going.
Shutout on the women's side, the 4x1 today. Just a lot of heartbreak, but I do think that the talent is there, and I mean, 3 in the final. You really can't deny that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Grant, I think one of the most interesting things he said in his post-race press conference is that like he doesn't get to shine as like much as the other athletes.
It's because
why is that?
Like, Grant,
he's done everything. He's outspoken. He's got great socials.
saying.
I don't know what it is. Is it the 110 hurdles? I don't I don't know.
I don't know how you're not like just enthralled by this
Yeah.
race. It's fascinating. There's so many variables. There's so much danger.
Maybe he needs to be a girl, like, because people love the women's the 100 hurdles.
I
I
think-
think if we put Grant in a wig and like put him in some makeup, like, you're like, oh my god, now I want to pay attention.
Eric's nodding his head. He's
I'm like, this is a good. That's a quote.
I'm just saying, man. But no, like you said,
I think we're
like,
going to
Noah,
attract a whole other crowd in the comment section for this.
Not Noah. Grant is literally like, he's literally like the rest of them. This is what I'm trying to tell people. Like, y'all be mad at Noah, but all of your favorite athletes do the exact same thing.
But hold on, like the thing with Grant is just like he was doing like the crying thing and like the silencer and all that stuff. Didn't we learn last year that there are no doubters and
He ain't got no haters. Who are we crying for?
Yeah.
Like, do something else, man. I don't know. My thing. And
Maybe
Grant,
Jamaica, because I mean, who wants to see an American win?
I don't
I don't know.
Like,
And we're already crying anyway. Like, come on, man. I think Grant should start a wine club. That's my
Oh.
idea.
yeah, the Grant Holloway Wine Club.
Yeah.
I'd
I
subscribe.
think that's what I think Grant Holloway will like. I'm really interested to see like what he's gonna turn into when he retires. Because when we talked to him last year in Budapest, he's like, "Yeah, when I'm done, like I am not coaching. I'm not doing nothing. Like I'm about to go be the drunk uncle in the stands at the track meets having a ball." So I'm just like, what are you going to like? What is your transition going to be into? Like he could start a wine club. He could make his own wine if he wants to.
I would be
He
buying
could
that
go-
in the caseload.
I could imagine Grant like buying, like getting some lessons from Fred Curley, going to buy land, okay, getting a bunch of grape fields and grapevines, making his own wine, and just like completely transitioning into like one of the best wine companies in the world.
Maybe
He's in the perfect place to learn right
yeah.
now. Stay in
The
France.
Parisian push is straight to the
Yeah.
He
vineyard.
just,
Yeah,
he just
exactly.
moves to France and just learns how to make wine.
I'm just laughing at the YouTube chat, just watching Eric this whole entire time. There's an Eric word count going.
I was
Every
honestly,
time someone says, "Eric, take a shot."
I was like, I'm no wandering today.
Eric is shook from this,
tell you.
from the
Well, look,
grade.
we've also got a group run that is on my mind. We've got
Mental
minus, like,
Speaking of
discipline.
which,
4
I
hours.
should probably go to sleep for that.
Yeah, Caitlin, thank you for your insights. You were dismissed. And I think Eric's mic is on, right?
I've just been talking literally the entire time. And Mac
think
cut the mic.
I think Eric, you got some haters behind the scenes, man.
Of course.
Yeah.
You're not
They're
doing
not
it right.
behind
You're
the
not doing it
scenes.
right if you don't have the haters.
Yeah. Caitlin, thank you so much. All right,
Is my
Caitlin,
is
your
it,
bracelet.
your bracelet. Here you go.
Thanks, man. Bye, guys.
All right, let's unpack real quick because we do have this group run starting in 7 hours.
6 hours and 50 minutes.
The women's 1500 meter semifinals, two very interesting races. The first heat of 12 athletes, Faith Kipyegon wins it, 3:58. Georgia Bell, Ellie St. Pierre, Laura Muir, Claudia Kazimierska, the U of O NCAA star,
Oh, yeah.
and then Agata Marquez, who's like super young, I believe. She is 25. She was super stoked in the mix zone and had like a whole crowd of like Spanish reporters there. And I was just watching the interview in Spanish, and she was just really happy. So for this one, I think for the most part, like a lot of the top contenders made it through. Berkey Halem, I think, was the one who was coming out of the repechage. So like that's another race under her legs. Maya Ramsden just missed out.
Just missed it.
Yeah, I mean, like she was holding on to that final Q position, but then it was even like it was the two Spaniards who
It was
just passed
Esther Guerrero.
her.
Esther Guerrero
Yeah.
she's a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two Spaniards just passed her with like about 50 meters to go.
So Guerrero did not make it though. She's the
Guerrero
last
did not
one
make
out.
it, but
yeah.
her teammate did, and they were separated by 0.04.
So crazy.
But yeah, so this one was 3:58 up in the front. What did you make of this one?
Well, I was going to say my big takeaway is that Georgia Bell looks really dangerous.
Yes. Yeah.
She looks really dangerous. She ran the 800 at the British trials. She was she
And she won
second?
the 15, but she It was at London Diamond League. You're thinking
London Diamond League. That I'm
behind
thinking
Keeley.
behind Keeley.
And she crushed it.
And they are coached by the same person.
Yep, Trevor.
They're coached by Trevor. I really think that we should be watching her for the final.
Oh, 100%. And I think like the most interesting thing with Georgia Bell is that she approaches this whole entire sport and this year with just like, I got nothing to lose. Like, I'm really happy to be here. Like, she was working in AI cybersecurity like at the beginning of the year, full-time job, unsponsored back in like January, emailing meets on her own, no agent, and then all of a sudden gets really good, makes the World Championship final, finishes 4th. And so when you have all the success compiling, eventually she did have to take a sabbatical from work. We did a great podcast episode with her, so if people want more of that story before the final, I recommend people go back and listen to that. It's definitely one of my favorite episodes of the year. So like when I don't know, like there's that saying I think that I've heard from Mac and Kyle a bunch before of like when you've got something else outside of running that occupies your mind, like sometimes you find yourself running so much better. And yeah, I know that she took like this break from her full-time job, but it just so happens she's getting very, very good at her fun hobby. And like, I don't think she's ever going back to that full-time job, especially with how well she's running. Has a very interesting approach to her training. Still biking 100 miles a week. And so for her to get to this point, and now that she's a Olympic finalist, I don't think this is the script that she saw for herself when she decided to, kind of put the duathlon aside for a bit.
What a cool story. Like, so she was in AI cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is AI is not going anywhere. So, when she's done with running, she can pick that right back up.
Yeah. People forget she ran at Cal for like for a year or two, I think, and like finished up her eligibility there. It's fun when you go back and look at the results and you see it's like Pac-12 championship. It was like Nikki Hiltz, Jess Hall, Georgia Bell, all people who will be competing in this Olympic final. So yeah, I'm totally with you. I'm on the Georgia Bell train.
It's like Ellie looked great. It's you're just seeing how fast these prelims are going. Like 3:58. All of these athletes are having to go sub 4 or close to it to make it into the final. This heat was 3:58, the slower of the heats.
Yeah, through 800 and 213.
Mm-hmm.
And they're running it in a
Yeah.
But like the difference between having to run, there is such a big difference between having to run 3:55, 3:56 to make it into a final and running 4 flat or 3:59. It's such a big difference. And if you're one of the athletes in these first heats who's running 4 flat, you've got to be happy. Like that does make a big difference. It adds up. You don't have a lot of time to recover. You've got one day off tomorrow, and then you're coming back for the final. You had another 3:59 a day ago. It just speaks to the level that the distance running is at right now on a world level. It takes so much to get into that final, and then to do well in the final.
Yeah. So Heat 2, 3 Vitelji, 3:55.10. Jess Hall, 3:55.4. Nikki Hiltz, 3:56.17, which is like, we thought that would be the winning time of the trials way back before that race had even happened. Beats Gudov Sagai, who was fading back, in that final 100 meters in 3:56. Susan Najor, 3:56. Agathe Guillemot from France got the Parisian push today to a national record of 3:56.69. And she's the last one in because Weronika Lizakowska from Poland runs 3:57.31 for a national record and doesn't make the final.
Wild. I mean, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's real. That's for her to be out of the final 3:57. That's insane. I remember because I was watching the race from the stands, and you see Emily Mackay just really struggling that last 300 meters, and then she fell completely off the pack.
Yeah,
still runs 4:02. It's I'm remembering that Emily Mackay was in that first heat of the first prelim and had to go, 358, 359, just to make it to this round. It's brutal. Nikki looked great.
Great.
Jess Hull, since my boy Mitch isn't here, I got to, Jess looked really good.
Do it in a Mitch voice.
You see, come
Oh,
on.
mate, Jess Hall, she looks so good. I reckon she's going to be hot in the middle. She's going to be passing Faith on, and I'm going to just be naked by the end of it, screaming so
She's
hard.
gonna be pissing in people's pockets.
You were like waiting for Chris to ask. You were like, done. I got it. It's like I'm just waiting to do
I think I just blacked out for a second.
I'm just waiting to do the Australia accent.
That was good.
I was like, wait, is Mitch not here?
I'm like now feeling a little embarrassed. That
You're like, what the hell is that?
You're like,
That's a demerit.
there's people
That's
that
a
be like,
big
that was
demerit.
offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mitch's window is open, like right there. He's like, are they seriously
I'm
doing
fired.
this shit?
I'm fired.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. HR is right here.
Yeah. I'm head of HR. It's fine. You got the HR stamp of approval. I'm like, guys, let's get back on track.
No wonder.
No more
Mental
like
discipline.
Yeah, guys, remember mental discipline. Sagai, fate, like
Doesn't look very good.
No.
doesn't look how you would. She's fading in a race. Obviously, still makes it in, but if you're Faith Kipyegon, you're watching that like, what a loser. She looked like shit. But you're also watching like, shit, Jess Hull looks good.
Remember when she just ran 350?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting to see how the athletes from this heat recover. Again, like 355 is insane. When Nikki won the trials in 354,
Yep.
it was an unbelievable race, one of the best races of the trials, and it was, I don't even know how close, it was incredibly close to that American record. It took that just to make it in to the final. So hopefully these athletes can recover and feel 100% going into the race, but that's going to be the biggest challenge going into the final.
Yeah. Nikki was not afraid to say after the race that they're thinking, like, I can get a medal. And it's like, I love that mentality.
Why not?
100%. They should be thinking that. When you're as successful as they've been, won the trials, run really fast, medals are on the mind. You've seen how successful all of America's been. They medaled indoors, right? But man,
Wouldn't put it past them.
absolutely wouldn't put it past them.
And-
Or Ellie.
Yeah, and with Nikki especially, in a variety of different race tactics. Their toolbox is so big and deep. Go fast, sit, kick.
Yep.
Anything they can handle, anything that's thrown at them, they can handle. And I'm really, really excited to see that. And the trials 354, that has to give you confidence that
For sure.
you're ready for whatever.
For sure.
Do you think, when you spoke about just like how much that 355 effort is going to take out of some of these athletes, do you think most of the medalists will come out of Heat 1 as a result of that? Or not really?
It's tough to say. Luckily,
If it's a 350 race,
I mean,
very well could be.
It very well could be.
There aren't that many people
There's-
who can run 350 though.
There's not that many
Yeah.
people that can run 350, but a good amount of, I would say, medal contenders are in this heat too. Nikki, Jess Hull, Sagai. I'm not even very familiar with the winner of this heat.
Well,
Do you do with Telgi?
she's nuts. She's
I mean,
so
always.
super good.
clearly, yeah.
Yeah.
She won the heat in
Bronze?
355 low.
But historically, maybe I'm making this up, but I don't really see a lot of Ethiopians medaling in the women's 15. Like
The tactics have not been good.
Not great.
No.
Not great. And,
They
and every
need to-
year
yeah.
you think there's no way anybody's going to beat the Ethiopians. The only trials, the only group of athletes better than the Americans are the Ethiopians. They are all running 350 or 355 or faster.
I love that I have the two of you on for this because, okay, now you would get to play the role of coach. You're the Ethiopian coach, and you have these talented athletes. You know their personal best. What's the race plan you devise for them to try and come away with at least one medal?
Don't lead.
Don't lead.
Don't lead. Slot in. Let someone else do it. We're watching the Ethiopian team do the same race plan every distance race, and it's not working out. It's not working out to go team tactics straight to the front, try to string it out because it's happening. That's really difficult. You have no pacers. There's no wave lights. You're just out there running balls to the wall. You've got all these races under your belt, and it inevitably slows, and everybody comes flying past you, and you're gassed. If I were the Ethiopian team, I would say, hey, look, Faith's probably going to run this one out. Jess Hull's going to go with her. Let's just track them. We know how to run this pace. We know we can run fast. Let's go for a ride and let's kick at the end. Try something new.
Yeah, I think that's about what I would say. There's not you definitely don't want to lead. You don't want to. At some point, Faith Kipyegon, I don't know how far out it'll be, but she's gonna take the lead. She's going to push it, make it hard. Whether that's like Jakob Ingebrigtsen right from 100 meters in, or whether that's with K to go or 800 to go, and just runs incredibly hard last 8. You really don't know, but everyone's going to be kind of playing off her. I think the other athletes are going to be. Jess Hull is certainly after a 350, you're a favorite. I mean, like, I wouldn't say she's a favorite to win gold, but if you were to say, oh, Jess Hull has a very good shot at winning gold, you'd be like, yeah, like, she ran 350, of course.
And she didn't run the 5K.
And she didn't run the 5K. You're right. She's coming in everything right here in this 15. Very confident. She's got the 2K world record.
Yep.
So the strength is there. Everything is there. She's made it through the final. You got to, like, if you're the Ethiopians, like, I don't know, like, pull up on Faith Kipyegon, work together. Don't put hands on her, but box her in. like force her out of her game plan. Mm-hmm. You would see this race strategy when it would come. Like Mo Farah would do this a lot, right? They would try and make it a fast race. They would be successful for a while, and then Mo would hit the front and then slow it down drastically, and it would take about a lap for these guys to say, like, oh wait, he's just slowing it down. Let's get back in the front. Let's get back to back to pushing the pace, and then he would do it again and slow it down, and everyone would let him. So he was just taking their game plan out. And the Ethiopians, or anybody who wants to have a shot at beating Faith Kipyegon or the heavy favorites here, needs to get them out of their element.
So this is what I love about doing these shows live is with a YouTube crowd, is that people listening can just send us things that are applicable to what we're talking about. Friend of the pod, Hannah Borenstein, did just send me something that was super interesting. Yomif Kajelcha said this to a radio station. They told us that if we don't follow their instructions, which was leading the race early, both we, athletes, and our coaches could face penalties. So it's coming from the Federation. Which is, yeah. Yeah, so you got it. Yeah, Mac is pointing out that,
Very
like,
interesting.
there are some countries where it's like you have to, like, it goes beyond just sort of like the athletic, federation, and instead it's like the Olympic Committee and those people. Like the Ethiopian team was a just total mess with its selection.
Yeah, so what's really interesting is there's not a unified selection and trials criteria around the world. And that's great, and that's fair, because every country can choose how they want to select their athletes for the games. But what is, I think, very problematic is that these criteria are not necessarily published or not necessarily published ahead of time. And I think this is a big problem for at least the athlete community, but also all stakeholders involved. You're starting off the track season and you don't necessarily know what is your path to qualification for the Olympics. Americans, the Brits, Australians, there's a little bit more subjectivity, but there's not a clear pathway to earning your spot on the team. And that makes things really challenging for athletes. I know a lot of athletes face situations like this where like it's entirely political and it's really unfair. Track is a black and white sport. And also maybe, Yomi, if we talked about it, like that's maybe not your best way to win the race.
No.
And if you are hamstrung by a political giant and the bureaucracy, like what are you going to do about that? You're fearful because your livelihood, your dreams are on the behest of someone else's whims, and that's a really dangerous place to be as an athlete if you want this to be a professional sport.
We had that other case today with Jamaica. Did you see the thrower who came
Danielle.
out? Yeah, and she was just like, Jamaica. The problem was that the federation and the Jamaican Olympic Committee didn't give her any coaching credentials. So she's been here by herself for like 2.5 weeks. Hasn't seen her coach at all, and doesn't feel supported at all by it, which makes just this whole entire game super stressful. And so she came out with a super emotional interview that I tweeted out. I think it was on Sports Max or whatever it was.
Very articulate. Like she was
she
able
made
to
all the
nail.
points.
She hit all the points, and I think that takes so much poise. And you're in the moment of your dreams just got crushed. She didn't make the final, and she's one of the best women in the world. She's ranked top 5 in the world.
Yeah.
And for her to be able to use that moment as a platform to say like, hey, this ain't right, in a very, very well-reasoned, but letting her voice raise and letting the emotions come out, like props to her.
Well, then she got a little heat, I think, from the Jamaican Olympic Committee that like I saw a follow-up tweet from like some other radio interview that was done that was like they're asking for her to like recant like her statements. It's like I think everyone's seen the video now. It's got over like 2 million views on the tweet that I like put out, and it's just like, no, it's out there, and like you can't hide behind this. Like so many people, like there are so many decisions at some of these, federations and committees that like, I don't know, it just gets swept under the rug. And it's like sometimes when you see a situation like this where it's clearly affecting the athlete, like they need to. They have every right to speak out.
And my last point on all of this, I get very heated about this, but the athletes at the end of the day are the only ones with punishment. They're the only stakeholders that bear the brunt of everyone else's failures. And it's really tough. I mean, Eric, we were kind of joking about it last night or whatever night that was, that like if the Premier League sucks, you're sacking somebody.
Yeah.
And in track, it's just not like that. It's who sucks. It's the athletes. The athletes, they're not making the finals. They're not winning the medals, and they're taking all the heat. It's the people. The Ethiopian Federation is not getting a punishment if their athlete doesn't medal. It all comes down to the backs of the athletes, and I think that's very unfair.
People are bringing up all these cases. Nigeria not registering Favor Ofili for like the 100, and she split like 10 something ridiculous today in like the 4x1, just like a massive oversight. But like, I don't know, we never heard someone at the Nigerian Federation getting fired over mistakes like this, and so yeah.
I mean, it does. A lot of these things like don't make any sense to me in terms of like the let's say the Ethiopian thing for example. Like, why? What is it like? They hate sit and kick races so much.
What do you have against sit and kick races? Let us know.
They're like, look, I would rather you come in last in a fast race than win a gold medal sitting in the back and kicking with a lap to go. Like
they might just be like huge Yaku fans.
Well, they're just like, look, we like the guy, like how he races, and if you don't race like that, you're never gonna race in an Ethiopia kit again. And with the Nigerian athlete Favor, like why do you not want athletes?
Well, this one just seems like they forgot
a clerical error.
Yeah,
a clerical error.
Yeah, same thing with one of the other Jamaican.
Yeah, the Jamaican
hammer
thrower. Yeah.
And then
Crazy.
they appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport and to World Athletics, and they're just like, sorry, no, like, and I understand like there are bigger things here where it's like there's a number of athletes that they try and target to here, but once you get here, you're just like athletes are filtering in and out of the village. Like these numbers mean nothing. Like you could have 10,010 athletes here. That's no difference. Or like some of these athletes will pay for their own stuff. So it's like, I don't know. Sometimes the bureaucratic stuff behind the scenes is just so annoying because it is the athletes who suffer at the end of the day. Don't even get us started on like some of these countries with their like even harsher and stricter standards to get on teams. Like that's a whole nother sort of separate podcast. And we've got a group run at 7:30 in the morning.
I was like, that's not
Wait,
tonight's
that's not for now.
podcast.
Yeah.
Let me stop you right now, Chris.
Yeah.
That's not tonight's podcast.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, back to the racing.
Back to
Sorry,
the racing.
we really let that one slip
So what
for
are
a
we?
minute.
All right. Final thing is, what are we expecting? Like in that, we've got 2 days, so we can hold off on predictions until tomorrow. 15 final is going to be fast.
It's gonna, yeah. I think it will be fast. How fast? Hard to say, but I do think it'll be fast. I do think you will see Kipyegon pulling, and then the other athletes just kind of filing in and getting in line and trying to pick up medals from there.
Yeah. All right. That is day 8 of the Olympics here in Paris. We've got, looking ahead at the schedule for tomorrow's finals. Wow, they're starting to be just straight up all finals tomorrow evening. Women's 4x1, they made it through today. A little rough of handoff between Gabby and Sha'Carri. I'm sure they'll clean that up. Then you got the women's shot put final. Unfortunate situation today with Chase Jackson not making it through. Oh, crap. Wait, I'm forgetting about Pauly throws. Make sure to get Pauly on the line, and he'll jump on really quick because there was an epic javelin competition that he needs to talk about. Men's 4x1 is going to get interesting when like there's no Lyles. You're gonna kill me.
Everyone in this house, like, there's never not an audience on the other side of these cameras. Like, people are pissed. Like, we have got to be doing a morning run at 7:30, and it is 1:04, and then with every tangent, people are just losing their minds.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm like, Pauly.
We got to deliver.
But we got it.
We gotta.
Pauly's the best.
Oh yeah.
Paul will keep this one.
Wait, what are
concise.
the other finals we got tomorrow?
Men's 4x1.
Nice.
No Lyles in this one.
Ooh.
Women's 400.
Okay.
Good one. Men's triple jump. Women's 800 heptathlon. The heptathlon second day closes out. Women's 10K. We'll see.
Whoa.
Yeah, Stefana Sun back on the track. Beatrice Chibet. Wayne Colati, Olympic debut. Parker Valby, Olympic debut. And then it closes out with the men's 400 hurdles. What will Rai Benjamin do?
Big day. Another
I'm preparing
big day.
that poster.
Yeah, you're preparing the posters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, do we have Paul on the line?
No, I'm struggling back here.
Oh, yeah, Mac is struggling. So let me really quick set it up so that Paul doesn't have to go through all of the context, unless he's here.
No,
Oh, all right. Mac is struggling, but we're going to try and get Paul on the line. So tonight we had the women's long jump competition. Okay, this one, we don't need Paul. I can do this one. Tara Davis-Woodhall gets her golden moment, 7:10 jump. Malika Mahambo, 6:98, second place. Jasmine Moore, it's got to be one of the first people
Bronze and bronze.
to take away 2 medals in the
Triple jump and long
and
jump.
triple jump. So a fantastic Olympics for her. And then, yeah, I mean, for this, I feel like Tara's been just kind of building towards this moment. In Tokyo, she was super young, coming out of college, and it was a happy to be there Olympics. But now, each time out, she's just elevated her game. And just to see the emotion pouring out of her going into that final jump where she had already sort of won the competition was special. So she did what was it, a snow angel in the sand afterwards to celebrate? Is that what it was? Yeah.
It was she did a back flop right into the sand. I was like, that could hurt.
You've been practicing that every night on your air mattress.
Oh my God, I can't wait to do a back flop. Snow Angel like crazy, right? Just about 5 feet over there. Queen size air mattress. You guys got to see this setup I got. Queen size air mattress, like really nice. It's like a Tempur-Pedic pillow. I don't have a blanket, but I have a bunch of sheets that that I used. Fan right on me. It's hot here, but the fan, it's like a big. It's a tower fan, not
I
just.
unplugged the fan today to try to plug my phone in.
Fan's gone,
and
I guess.
Eric almost
Oh
killed
yeah,
me.
she unplugged. She just came in. Here I am sitting with the one thing I've got, and she's like, "I'm not gonna unplug this. I'll plug my phone in." I'm like, "Okay, nice to see you, Aisha." Like, Jesus Christ, kind of doing my thing over here. This is my room, but yeah, I got to. Needless to say, as I got a hell of a setup. I'm looking forward to getting there in a
couple minutes.
hopefully in a few minutes.
Yeah. So no Paul tonight. All right.
Oh,
well, you know what?
The javelin competition was thrilling.
He's like, this is not going to do it justice.
This is not going to do it justice. I really don't understand why we're seeing so many Olympic records in all the field events, but it's captivating. And today, the athlete from Pakistan throws the Olympic record. He throws like 92 something.
Yeah, that was insane. Watching that thing just launch through the air.
Yeah, and everybody talks about Neeraj Chopra because obviously he's the most followed athlete in track and field. Everybody was, wanting to see him win, but those two were in such an intense battle. And it was great to see. And, there's a big sporting history between India and Pakistan, and they were hugging it out after the competition, and you love to see that.
Yeah. Who was it that said that they should have a duel where it's just the two of them throwing from opposite sides of the...
So it's like
Wait.
javelin jousting?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tight.
So
that would
love
be.
to see
I mean,
that.
that would be very exciting. That would fill a stadium.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Wait, and so are they allowed to move, or they have to stand right there? They throw at the same time. Or can
You can't move.
Can you can't dodge it?
No.
Oh fuck!
Yikes.
I don't know. It's getting late. This is where our mind is wandering. And
I'm
Paul's
like,
probably
you
like, I
can't
can't
dodge
believe
the
this is
javelin in the made-up javelin
Oh,
event we've
he
done.
almost threw 93, 92, 97.
fun. Yeah.
All right.
Anderson Peters, bronze. All right,
He'll
we'll
break
get
it
Paul
down.
on
Yeah, he'll want to talk
tomorrow,
about this.
and he will give this thing its fair shake. All right, that does it for another edition of Torch Talk here from Paris. We will be getting up in about 6 hours for our group run. If you are in the Paris area and are somehow listening to this right now and not in bed, or get this early enough in the morning, join us at 7:30 a.m. in front of the Louvre. We're going to do the run with Believe in the Run, Kafuzi. So hopefully we get a nice turnout. Never know.
How
I guess
long is the run? 3 miles, 4
3
miles?
3 miles. Just an out and back, nice and easy. We've got a lot of these shirts to give out to the people. We've got buttons. We've got pins.
And
Should
we've
be
got
fun.
vibes.
We've got vibes.
We're bringing the vibes.
And then after that, I got to go pick up my bib for the marathon and think
Jesus.
about it. Contemplate things very deeply, whether or not I should do this.
How many runs? Is this your first run in a while?
Tomorrow will be my first run in like 2 or 3 days.
So you're gonna hammer from the front?
Yeah. Well,
Hell
so
yeah.
like if I'm doing the in solidarity with Sifan Hassan, I'll have to do like a hard 6 miles tomorrow
Oh yeah.
and then run the marathon. There's a couple articles published today about the marathon course. It's scaring me now.
Brutal.
You gotta stop
brutal.
reading the articles. I
Yeah.
know it's your job and all, but maybe lay off until you finish that thing.
If I finish the thing.
Yeah.
All right, that does it. Good night from Paris. I'm Chris Chavez, Eric Jenkins, Aisha Pratt-Lear, Caitlin Hutchinson. We'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. J'adore l'athlétisme.
J'adore l'athlétisme.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Eric.
Where's the Cincinnati guy now, huh?